Hey guys, welcome back to episode 9 of the Unhinged Ginge. Took the week off last week because it was my wonderful man's birthday. We went to Bourbon Beyond, super fucking fun, great show. Everyone was awesome, the performers were amazing, camping was makeshifted, but we figured it out, and we will live to do that better another day. But we made it work. Just a little bit of a sunburn and a nice nap, long week at work, and we're back at it with you guys. So if I'm not mistaken, I'm hopping on a plane to go to the Caribbean. That's where I left you. So, oh, and I actually, let me just get that out there. I'm gonna try something different this week. I found this journal. It has some things in it about this little chunk of my life. So I'm gonna read some excerpts from that. I haven't really gone through and highlighted them or made this any type of structured, organized anything. We're just gonna kind of wing it. We're gonna wing it because I've been winging this whole fucking thing in the first place, haven't I? Yeah, let me know, comment, do the thing. Tell me if you like it when I read out of the journal, or if you prefer me just, telling these on the fly, rambling like I normally do. So, that being said, let's get started. So that first week in St. John, the island cast its spell on me very quickly. The water, the sunsets, the bioluminescence, the man, the myth, the legend, the sex, dare I say the pegging? We'll get there. Yeah, it cast its spell on me quickly, and it didn't take long for that spell to be undone, but I suppose we'll get to that. So let me tell you what it was like when I got there. We will start here. I arrived on St. Thomas Tuesday, September 23rd. I met Chef in Red Hook after a 40-minute cranky cab ride. My driver, not me. I was beaming with the anticipation of seeing my best friend and one of my favorite lovers after 10 months of separation. He was waiting for me at Señor Frogs. He didn't know I planned to move and we would be island neighbors in just a few weeks. I couldn't wait to tell him. I walked up the street and saw the bar, then him. I approached the bar when he looked my way, both of us beaming with love and excitement. I dropped my things and jumped into his arms, and then he proceeded to smile and cry as we kissed, him still holding me up, legs wrapped around his waist. After a couple of drinks and some storytelling, I told him of my moving plans and that we'd be neighbors soon. We were just as happy as we ever were. We caught the last ferry over to St. Thomas, sat at the front of the rain and the seawater spraying us in the face, laughing and kissing. This was going to be perfect. Chef took me all over the island. We went to different beaches, on hikes. We made love every morning, most afternoons, and every night. We had a picnic on top of Ram Head, fucked in the ocean, and lived off meal replacement shakes and laughter. But 3 days before I was supposed to leave island, my flight was canceled. And after a few nights thinking about it, I decided to flip a coin. Okay, so basically he took me around. It was incredible. I was just still so in awe and starstruck by this wonderful man, and everything was just kind of coming together. This shit was gonna be epic. And the sex was great. Let's do a little side note. Let's take a little journey this way for a second. So rewind back to when I'm in Austin and I'm hanging out with Heather at the bar, at the Handlebar. And we were looking to hook up with some dudes like we normally did. We usually went out trying to go home with or take someone home. And that night there was slim pickings. Slim pickings at the bar. Not many people to take home. So we waited a while, and oh, sorry if you hear the tap tapping. My dog is trying to get me to play fetch with him right now. That's sweet baby Boomer with his fleeve. So I apologize. Anyway, so Heather and I were like, fuck it. let's go to the Megaplex. The Megaplex is a giant sex shop in Austin, or at least it was. So Heather and I decided, like, fuck it, we need to get our rocks off, so we might as well go to the sex store and treat ourselves. And ended up getting a double-sided strap-on because neither one of us had done that before, and we just kind of wanted to know what it felt like to, like, be the person on the giving end instead of the receiving end. So we ended up buying a double-sided strap-on because clearly you want to make sure that you're having a good time too as the penetrator. So like, why not? And so we strapped that bitch on and went to town on each other. I went first as the penetrator. And I was like, oh my God, you've got to try this. It's so powerful to be the one who's ramming someone instead of the one getting railed. So yeah, I remember that's why. They gave me the accoutrements for this to set itself up. So I had told Chef about this and he was like, oh wow, that's hot, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so he asked me if I wouldn't mind bringing that down with me. And I was like, huh? And I guess it was just something that he was always kind of curious about. And I was like, fuck yeah, I would love to peg you. I've never done that. That sounds fucking dope. I was nervous as hell, but he couldn't know that. I didn't want it to be a shared situation with me and Heather. So I went back to the Megaplex. I bought a new one. I didn't want Chef to have hand-me-down strap-ons. And legit, I'd only done this whole thing once and it was with a woman. So I didn't know how this was gonna go when I was having to work on someone's sweet little virgin butthole, but we figured it out. Didn't really figure it out. Gave him his first hemorrhoid. That wasn't me figuring it out. But, you know, it's nice, in my opinion, because now I know that, like, they flare up, you know, hemorrhoid, like, you get one, they don't, like, go away, they, like, chill, and then they'll flare up. And so even though I might not be as actively in that man's life anymore, I know for sure I will always be a pain in his ass. And that brings me fucking great joy. So, sorry, buddy. And also, you're welcome. I don't always leave my mark the same way, but I do always leave my mark. So, that was, yeah. So just a fun side story about the picking. Because of course. Anyway, let's get back to the book. All right. Yes, so that's right. I had flipped a coin. So what had happened was I was on the phone. They canceled my flight from St. Thomas to San Juan. So I was on the phone with the travel company, Travelocity, Expedia, whoever the fuck I had booked this trip through. I was on the phone with them. And there was a language barrier and we were having a little bit of a hard time understanding each other. So when I was trying to get another flight out of there, they kept finding me flights from San Juan back to Texas, but I already had a flight from San Juan. I needed a flight from St. Thomas, and I'm getting more and more like progressively mad about this, and I'm trying to figure it out, and I can't, and I am annoyed. I feel like I'm gonna be rude with this service person on the phone, and I hate fucking doing that, especially just because it's like, you know, a language barrier is such a silly thing to get fucking pissed off about. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a breather, figure out what the fuck's going on. Thought about it for a day, two, whatever. Me and Chef go to the beach. I get back on the phone to make one last attempt of trying to get a flight from St. Thomas to San Juan. And same situation, language barrier. I start getting really, really irritable. So I just hang up the phone and I'm like, fuck it. This is the universe. This is the universe fucking screaming at me again, telling me that this is what needs to happen. So fuck it, I'm gonna flip a coin. Heads I head home, tails I keep my ass here. That's how it's gonna go. And I thought I flipped it, but according to my journal, Chef actually flipped that coin and it landed on tails. Let's pick up from there. Chef flipped it and I stayed. Once that decision was made, the world I was living in quickly showed itself for what I had neglected to see. Chef now had to tell me the whole truth about the woman that was moving there in January to be with him, how he loves me as a person but doesn't want to be with me. I was at a loss, but not shocked. This is what often happens to me. I told him I didn't want anything, and I didn't need anything from him. I just needed, scratch that. Because, you know, you write things and it doesn't even make sense. It's like, I actually did tell him I needed something from him. The thing I told him that I needed from him was I just wanted 1 extra week. I wanted 1 extra week to stay with him in his place so that I could try to figure out a job or a flight or like whatever the fuck. Like I needed to figure something out, and I just wanted a place to stay for a week. I told him if I couldn't figure out a job or place to stay by the end of that week, to just drop me off in like on the corner of the like downtown bar area in Cruz Bay. In the week between the coin flip and the corner drop off, I met several people. A colorful woman named Caroline, a kindred spirit named Levi, and we will talk so much about him later, and you will also get to meet him at some point. Still to this day, one of my favorite fucking people on this planet. That is my brother. Holy shit. I fucking love this guy. Okay, so I digress. 2 best friends, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, and 1 sociopath. And we'll just call him that. So Caroline is a 38-year-old crack user with personality disorder. She had big ups and big downs. Do anything for you and then tell you to go fuck yourself. Levi is a hilarious, kind 31-year-old man that has been through his fair share of shit. We quickly became friends. By we quickly became friends, okay, so look, when I say we quickly became friends, Chef brought me to the bar that Levi worked at. Levi just started working there as the head, like GM, whatever you want to call it. But it wasn't like a normal bar. There was like 2 fucking employees. It's like, it's been opened and closed and renamed by so many different things, and like the people across the street at Woody's, which is a very popular bar, bought it and named it Across the Street because it was across the street from Woody's. And he was positioned there to try to elevate business because he's just really good at what he does, and he's a showman, but also, so the fuck am I? So when we linked up, shit blew up. It was a match made in heaven. But when I met him because Chef took me to this bar. And I sat down and I was just, you know, being my delightful goddamn self. And he's like, oh my God, I'm a redhead. I'm like, oh, you know what? And he's like, oh, I don't know. It's just every time I see a redheaded woman, all I can think is, clown pussy! I'm sorry. I've heard so much of all the fucking things, and at this point I guess I'm like 28 years old, 29, whatever. I'd heard all the things about being a ginger at the clown pussy? Clown pussy? Loved it, loved him and his fucking gay ass immediately. I was like, did we just become best friends? Did we just become best friends? Do you want to do karate in the basement? That's exactly where it was. I fucking love Levi, and that was my introduction to him. It's fucking delightful. Okay, anyway. Tweedledee and Tweedledum are best friends. They met a few months prior in Alaska. They were the first people to tell me I want to be alone. The sociopath is a cook at the bar that Levi works at, and where I will begin to work shortly. I began making connections to survive without the comforts of Chef. I needed to do this without help from him. The sociopath needed a roommate. I had some money wired to me from Tamara from some shit that she was selling of mine back in Austin, so that I could work on making moves to get us a place. And that place was going to be us living on a sailboat. I stayed with Caroline for the first couple days, and then I stayed with Levi for a couple days as well. But 3 days after I had Chef drop me off, I met the last person I would have thought I'd meet, considering where my life was. So, where my life was, I am homeless. I am sleeping at these different people's places. I found a wooden pallet over on I think it was like Frank Bay or something like that. And Levi gave me a sheet so that I could sleep on that and keep the sand fleas off me. So that was nice. And I was just, fuck it, I was making it work. But we'll get to that next week. So, yeah. In case you weren't aware, call the audible, change plans at the last minute, do the thing, stay on the island, fuck the guy, break your heart, figure it out. You're fucking good. It's your journey, baby. Live your fucking truth. And I'll see you next Tuesday.